that the technique that I'm going to talk about is something that I use all the time in my own life. So, in October of 2009, I had a pretty good academic, kind of theoretical background in digital forensics, but no real case experience. And so Rob Lee calls me and says, wouldn't I like to go do an analysis of a server for one of his company's clients? Well, it wasn't just any client. It turns out it was probably, I'd say, the most important client your company had. And it was a major case involving tens of millions of dollars. Oh, and owing to unforeseen circumstances, there was no way for me to have any overlap with the consultant who had started the investigation. Just had an hour on a conference call. So I'm thinking maybe some of you in the room might have found a polite way to no-bid that work, right? Because, I mean, it's kind of a scary scenario, right? High stakes, a lot of unknowns, right? Maybe you got that kind of sinking, churning sensation in your stomach when I was describing that scenario. I've come to recognize that sensation in my stomach, in my life. And owing to a childhood wasted playing Dungeons and Dragons, I think of it as facing a dragon. But call it what you will. I mean, it's your brain, right? It's your brain trying to protect you from something that might be dangerous to you. But let me tell you that every important thing that's happened in my life has happened because I've done something scary. And on the other side of that fear, it looks like, nothing so much as maybe fear of the unknown. And on the other side of that fear is learning and opportunity for you. So I'm not saying that I lived without fear. What I'm saying is I've come to recognize that feeling in my stomach. And when I feel that, the question is that something that's legitimately dangerous to me? Or am I just psyching myself out because it's something outside of my comfort zone? And if it's the latter, then the question is, should I face down that fear? Should I accept that challenge and see it through to the other side? Now, when you engage on something like that, though, you have to engage with the belief that you're going to succeed. Because if you go up against that dragon thinking that you might fail, then you probably will. Now, the dragon that Rob offered me in October of 2009 was a pretty big dragon, but it's not like I was going in completely unarmed. I had, a dozen years of independent consulting experience at that point. I had experience going into client sites and figuring out what they needed and, delivering. I had, decades of experience studying and working with computer systems, understanding how they worked and all that stuff. So I've been facing dragons for a while. And you start with little baby dragons, right? You start small, and each dragon you defeat, right, it's just like a game. You get skills and experience, right, that help you with the next dragon. But more importantly, I think you gain confidence, right? I beat the dragon. I kicked the shit out of that little bastard, right? Yeah. And you take that confidence with you to the next experience. And sometimes, really, it's only that confidence that's going to get you through to the other side, right? When you're on fire, right, sometimes it's only that confidence that's going to carry you through. So look, sometimes the fear is giving you good data. Don't stick your finger in that light socket, okay? But as we make conscious decisions about facing our fears and accepting those challenges, we grow, right? I mean, we grow in skill and experience, we grow professionally, and we grow as people. And it never stops. There's always more dragons on the other side of the one that you just knocked over, right? It's constant challenging going on. And so, for a lot of people, the real fear that we're talking about is fear of failure, right? Because also sometimes the dragon kills you. I mean, it's a legitimate fear. Sometimes you fail, or sometimes you fail spectacularly. But what's on the other side of that? I mean, you know, it's just oblivion, nothingness? No, I mean, life goes on. You find a way to move ahead from that. And just like that failure isn't final, I'm also here to tell you that success isn't final either, right? You're in a comfort zone right now, and it's all good for you. But in our industry particularly, but I mean, life is a general rule. If you stand pat, you lose. And so I'd rather go out and face those dragons on my own terms than sort of sit in my comfortable castle and watch the walls kind of crumble down around me just due to entropy. So look, I respect my dragons, and I respect that fear, but there's also opportunities there. And if I've succeeded at all in my career, it's because of those challenges that I've faced.